Mind Ripper is a 1995 sci-fi horror film from director Joe Gayton. The movie opens on a mountain range near Gentech, a secret research installation. A group of scientists find a body just lying around, so they bring it inside to use as a human test subject for their freaky experiments. Stockton injects him with a virus in the hopes that he won't die.
I don't know who you are, but God, I pray that this gives you life.
Outside the base, the cameraman becomes easily distracted by this adorable rabbit. 6 months later, the body's still alive, and the team has lovingly named him Thor. Joanne goes to get a shower, but's being watched. This is Rob. He'll be your creep for the duration of this film.
Actually, I'm just playing a little video golf. My putting game is almost perfect, and I'm actually about to go 4 strokes up.
She seems pretty cool with the fact that he's spying on her. What's he watching her on, a modified Virtual Boy?
Does anybody know we're still out here in this abandoned nuclear dump?
Yes, Larry, they know we're still here.
And yes, Larry, cornflakes are fortified with vitamins and iron and are part of a well-balanced breakfast. Stockton left the group weeks ago because he felt they were playing God with Thor's life. Over at Stockton's house, his son Scott is being a pothead. I'm pretty sure this isn't acting here. This is just Giovanni Ribisi being himself. In the other room, Stockton's daughter Wendy and her boyfriend Mark are fooling around. Mark is annoying. Why? He has one train of thought the entire film.
Mark, come on.
Where, the bed? Okay.
No, stop.
Okay, here's cool.
Look, what part of Get Off don't you understand?
I understand it completely. That's what I'm trying to do.
Stockton, Scott, and Wendy are going camping for the weekend. Back at the Gentech base, Thor's having seizures. Alex calls Stockton to let him know what's going on and asks him to come back. They try to operate on Thor, but he dies. Oh well, let's all just take off our hazmat suits, no airborne toxins or anything. Thor comes back to life and proceeds to play peekaboo with the scientists.
Peekaboo!
Stockton decides to stop at the outpost with his family on the way to the campsite. Oh good, Mark is joining them. Alex forces Rob and Joanne to help him recapture Thor. Stockton lands his plane near the facility. Scott always looks either confused or in pain. Stockton tells the kids to stay with the plane while he investigates the lab.
Like a graveyard.
Yeah, you better stay real close.
Mark, come on. Here?
Hey, graveyards bring out the lust for life in me. They harden my tombstone.
Please, please, someone set him on fire. If you weren't convinced that Mark is a complete fucking idiot, this should clear all doubt.
Did you hear something?
No. Yeah, wait, I did.
Thor looks like he's mutating into something from Urusaka Doji. Thor grabs Alex and now Rob and Joanne are trapped inside. Although I'm pretty sure they could push over that aluminum foil door.
I guess I'm gonna go down there. I want you guys to stay by the plane, all right? I told you to stay by the plane.
Stay by the plane, stay by the plane. Okay, everyone come inside. Rob and Joanne break into the radioactive material storage room. Good thing they have the barrels of leaky toxic waste placed at the top of a ramp that leads directly to the door. That couldn't possibly ever become a problem. They get sprayed with radioactive mint julep, but it doesn't faze them. In the middle of a horror film, random discussions about Siegfried and Roy can happen at almost any moment.
Hey, man. Which one's Siegfried? Which one's Roy?
Siegfried's the blonde.
No, Roy's the blonde.
Siegfried's the blonde, for Christ's sake.
Everybody knows Roy is the dark hair.
Rob apologizes to Joanne for being a peeping Tom.
This is not a really good time for a confession.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's the perfect time for me to say to you that I have always had a crush on you. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Thanks.
And that's how I met your mother. Thor's talking to Alex. He tells him that he needs a chemical from brains to live, so he uses his new spiky tentacle thing to suck his brains out. Rob's climbing some stairs to get away from Thor and gets one of the most unpleasant injuries I've seen in quite a while. Thor catches him and eats his brains. After getting a double dose of brains, Thor's hair starts to fall out in clumps. This looks like the before part of a Hair Club for Men commercial. Stockton goes looking for the other scientists, Wendy and Mark go wandering, and Scott goes to make popcorn. Thor hears his shitty music and starts to track him. Don't bother eating his brain, Thor, you'll starve. Stockton rescues Scott, but Thor hauls him away. Joanne explains to the kids that they created a virus that would make normal men into super soldiers for the government. So they knew he would be super strong, and yet they didn't keep him strapped down. Joanne decides to try and lure Thor into the freezer with brains. Why do they have all these brains exactly? Plus, they were all frozen. Did they have to microwave them? Thor takes the bait. He attacks and kills Joanne, and then kills Scott and Mark. Wow, this just got real serious all of a sudden. Thor grabs Wendy and... Huh? It was all a dream. That's gotta be a first. The killer's having a nightmare that the heroes are gonna kill him. Thor takes the bait for real this time, unless it's a dream inside of a dream. The group runs away and trips Thor. Is he really all that dangerous if this is all it takes to knock him out? Thor wakes up and follows the brain trail all the way to the freezer. Wendy wishes Mark good luck. Does she even like this guy? Look at the zero amount of chemistry between them.
Be careful.
I've seen people kiss their grandmothers with more passion. Joanne and Mark go to lock Thor in the freezer. Hey, maybe you should, take a quick look inside to make sure he's in there. Even though they're in a narrow hallway, Thor still managed to double back and sneak up behind them. He tosses Joanne and kills Mark.
The love monster.
I can't say I'm all that sad about it. Joanne shoots Thor and locks him in the freezer, where he promptly starts regenerating. Joanne, Scott, and Wendy find Stockton still alive. Thor finds out the freezer walls are made out of paper mache and escapes. Thor finds the group and takes Wendy. This looks like the cover for some weird alien-human Harlequin romance novel. Since loud, irritating noises bothers Thor, Scott starts talking into the intercom and Wendy gets away. They manage to escape the lab and lock Thor inside. They get in this old van and drive away.
Get the gun.
Okay, how did he escape the lab? No matter, Stockton shoots him and, of course. Scott cuts off Thor's mouth penis and Wendy sets the van on fire. They make it to the airplane and fly away. Okay, good, so Thor isn't somehow magically hanging from the underside of the plane. They go higher into the air and Thor is somehow magically hanging from the underside of the plane. Joanne shoots him in the face with a shotgun, and unless he suddenly figures out how to fly, the survivors get away. The movie was filmed mostly in Bulgaria for about $8 million. Originally, the film was written as the third movie in the Hills Have Eyes series. It was written by Jonathan Craven, son of the legendary horror director Wes Craven. While in pre-production, they decided to make it a standalone film. They changed a few things and called it Mind Ripper, although it's sometimes also listed as The Outpost. Years later, the remake of The Hills Have Eyes is a huge success. Eager to capitalize on this, Jonathan teamed up with his father once again, and over a weekend wrote the sequel to the remake. The original remake is one of the best remakes ever made. The sequel to the remake is a complete pile of shit and feels exactly like a quick attempt at a cash-in. Even though Wes Craven's name is plastered all over the movie, he didn't direct it. He and his son produced it, and it was directed by Joe Gayton. A year after Mind Ripper, Gayton directed the very good Sweet Jane, with two relatively unknown leads, Samantha Mathis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's since gone on to write, produce, and direct the AMC series Hell on Wheels. The very likable Claire Stansfield played Joanne. I was a fan of hers from her run on Xena Warrior Princess. This was Giovanni Ribisi's first movie. He's an actor that I just don't get. I don't hate him, but every movie or TV show I see him in, he's always fidgety, mouth-open guy. Classic that guy actor John Deal played Alex. With 135 credits currently to his name, chances are you've seen him in at least a thing or two. From Stargate to Jurassic Park 3 to The Shield, he is always good. The fantastic Lance Henriksen played Stockton. Between him and John Deal, they added an extra layer of class to the film. Henriksen is always giving it his all, regardless if the film is a AAA blockbuster or a low-budget direct-to-video. I know I was a little harsh on the movie, but you should give it a shot. It is a really good time. Thor made for a solid monster, and the pacing was such that you don't mind some of the dumb things that the cast was doing. The claustrophobic feel of The Outpost worked very well, and making Thor somewhat of a sympathetic villain worked. At the end, when he falls out of an airplane, only to start regenerating on the ground, I was okay with that. Same thing happened to Wolverine, and I didn't hear anyone complaining.
You fed me soup.
Chicken noodle.